Hundreds of generations with an uninterrupted process of exchange of information, knowledge, traditions, myths, language and symbols have lived on Ukrainian lands since the Neolithic age. These markers of information are defining for every nation and enable them to understand their identity and the purpose why they live. The information passed down from parents to children and grandchildren has increased and changed over the course of a millennium. Who were our ancestors? Do you remember them? To whom do we go to find the answers to these questions? Who were before us and who will come tomorrow? What unites us? Do we have any connection? Step by step, we will immerse into the past while holding onto a thread that stretches through a millennium.
Ой, весняночка, де твоя дочка Юляна? А моя дочка Юляночка погнала бички до лісу, паси бичечки випасає, шовком сорочку вишива.
In the beginning there was the word, but I should add that sound emerged before it. It was the sound, and then the word that gave the start.
Зі слова все почалося. З дитинства ми чуємо
We heard sounds from childhood, a mother's lullaby,
спів
bird songs,
ті самі жаби, кум,
frogs, croaking, and cuckoo song.
зозуля кує. Це все
All of them are sounds that flesh us out.
при вході
We are welcomed by the ringing of a doorbell.
кожну людину і очищає, і оздоровлює.
This cleanses every person, lifts their mood, and of course, to a certain degree, stimulates them, so to speak, revive themselves at some kind of a cellular level.
Сказати, на клітинному рівні організм до відновлення.
Тобто фактично
In other words, music and melody of a song essentially serves as a sound signal and a code of a calendar period. The texts of songs may differ drastically. The text may be ritual, dedicated to love, comical or descriptive of some daily realities of life.
які описують якісь реалії навіть повсякденного життя.
On the other hand, the melody that connects these texts is a sound code of a specific calendar period.
Звуковим кодом календарного часу.
Ой, під мостом трава ростом ровняється з мостом, козаченька до дівочки ровняється з ром. Ой, ровняйся, не ровняйся, не поровняйся, ти богате, я Бога не повінчає.
І от якщо
People sing Vesnyankas from early spring and, as I was told, until St. Peter's. It is a rare case, but people in the Zhytomyr Oblast said it is up to Peter's celebration.
це рідкісний випадок, але от на Житомирщині мені сказали, аж до Петра. Тобто це або, скажімо, на
In other regions, it may be closer to the Pentecost or the Green Week. They sang different melodies every day, but they were not spring songs. This means that our ancestors defined this calendar time as spring.
шматок часу, відрізок часу календарного мислять як весна.
Намалює маляр квітку на чорному шовку, примандрує женішина з Київського полу.
It was the most vivid period, the main moment for young women to show their beauty. In particular, young women demonstrated their best attires. They prepared for the spring period their natural beauty, suggesting that they were ready to attract the attention of young men.
Всю свою красу, натякаючи на те, що хтось з них вже очікує.
What did young men have to do in these times? They had to appreciate women and choose a partner. Indeed, it was the major difference between functions that young men and women had in those times.
Головних таких відмінностей, тобто в функціях дівчат.
After all, youth were the main participants of these spring ceremonies. Therefore, it was precisely in this way that their specific roles were assigned.
Ось таким чином розподіляються ролі.
Треба сказати, що жанрова система
Remarkably, the genre aspect differed in specific areas. It developed historically in these regions. One area has one set of rituals, the other had different ones. Let's say this spring started from early to late spring and Trinity ceremony in Policia. Everything is accompanied with songs and has specific ceremonies in specific dates.
в різний час.
I'm smart. I know everything. And I know how to do it all. That's the way it was, and that's how it will be.
Так було. Так є.
Enjoy your meal. Thank you.
Інший пласт, який приходить на зміну вже гуканкам, це хороводні, які мають дуже такі...
The other types of songs that replace hooting are chorus songs that have a rhythmic character and accompany a ceremonial game or a dance called round dance. It should help to make the right steps. It is a symbiosis of rhythm, words, movement, and the content of the performed Vesnyanka or round dance. These aspects have very specific characteristic traits.
Виконуваної веснянки або ж хороводу. Ось, тобто вони мають дуже характерні особливості.
Скажімо, є місцевості, Поділля, наприклад, де все сконцентровано.
Let's say that in Podillia everything is focused on Easter celebrations in another 3 days. Maybe it is later tradition, but it is truly a cluster of round dances and games. People gather near the church in the center and start singing and dancing in a ring.
Ігор, коли всім селом виходять десь в центр до церкви, і всім селом водять хороводи, насамперед молодь, звичайно.
First of all, the main participants are youth, young men, women, while children learn this practice and play their own games. Young women and married ones participated as well. Generally speaking, people believed that dancing in a circle and other forms of movement had certain magical effects.
Так само наділявся магічними властивостями, тому що
This is because, as a rule, they considered the months of April and May the period of celebrating the Annunciation and Easter, and the movement seemingly fostered natural development.
в цьому районі, то рух сприяв. В цей час відбувається вегетація, ростуть злакові, і рух, наче як мав сприяв.
Our ancestors believed that it would encourage the active growth that would progress according to the laws of nature. Given this, people became highly active and started to amplify these natural processes of renewal by their movements and behavior.
І наче була співзвучна цим процесом оновлення.
I trample squill, God will give you wealth, and I will continue to trample it right up until the next year comes.
Спостерігали, які...
They observed which would be first green and how the first grass is sprouting. It is necessary to note that people went to the woods to trample squill barefoot. It was considered that in a manner of touch the energy was transferred, so-called contact magic.
шляхом тактильним, передачі живої енергії, від контактна магія так звана, тобто від життя, від зелені, від...
The powers of life were transferred from nature to a human being. It was an absolute mutual communion of a human being and nature. In some cases, people stimulated the specific processes with their energy. On the other hand, a person obtained wealth and well-being for a year when receiving the power of nature.
Процеси в природі. А з іншого боку, переймала силу природи, як здоров'я і благополуччя на цілий рік для себе.
The end of spring and spring cycle happens during the Pentecost celebration. During such a period of culmination and nature blossoming, these rituals come along through the use of greens, twigs, flowers, and grass.
Природи ці обрядові дії супроводжуються дуже рясним використанням.
It is possible to distinguish the ceremony of bush, which today is maintained in the Rivne Oblast, among these unique and well-known rituals. It is associated with the cult of fertility and worship of ancestors.
І до сьогодні ось він пов'язаний із культом родючості, з культом вшанування предків.
Травою бредемо, тополю ведемо, де ж ми тополі притулок знайдемо, де ж ми тополі притулок знайдемо.
Сама трійця є своєрідним таким...
The Pentecost celebration signifies a musical peak and culmination. In several regions, people preserved the rituals associated with Rusalka farewell ceremonies. Notably, in the beginning of spring, people welcomed these entities, and by the end of season, they saw them off. Actually, Green Week locked the spring cycle, which is rich and versatile in different spheres. People farewell Rusalkas 1 week after the Pentecost celebration ends. They go to cemeteries with Rusalka songs as well as spring songs that they sang during the whole spring cycle. However, when returning from the cemetery, people remained silent, which signified that spring had ended.
Не співають жодної веснянки, тому що для них весна закінчилась.
Летіть, соловейки, на нашу земельку.
Flee, nightingale, to our land. Hurry up, swallows to visit our home.
Пташечки, пташечки, вже весна прийшла. Прилітайте. Вище, вище, вище. Я боюсь.
Це певна форма субкультури.
It is a distinctive form of a subculture. It is more similar to a game. Yet we know and notice that the beginning of spring brings energy even in a contemporary context. Life forces come back to a person when the spring sun is rising. In other words, we feel that summer brings to us this new energy of life.
Ось, і, тобто навіть ми це відчуваємо, що весна нам приносить цю нову енергію життя.
Children also intuitively recognize this phenomenon. But if we're talking about rituals and ceremonies, I believe that for youth, it has a form of a game that is more organic if performing in nature and demands knowledge of texts and knowing the rules of the game.
На природі, якщо це відбувається зі знанням цих текстів, зі знанням цих ігор, тобто вона достатньо органічна для дітей.
Alternatively, it is seamless for children since it is easier for them to believe, and children are still close to nature. They have a stronger connection and link with it. They show pure performance when engaging in ceremonies associated with birds. It is not an imitation of something, rather true emotions.
То це дуже чисте виконання, це не імітація заради чогось, а це дуже справжнє пережиття.
I think that we can learn such faith from children and live in a way that our children won't interfere with belief in nature powers that are evident.
І жити таким чином, щоб знання нам не заважали вірити в цю силу природи, яка є абсолютно очевидною. Я думаю, що все багатство традицій, воно має бути...
I think that the abundance of traditions should be recorded and passed on at the level of information and not practice, as a valuable part of our non-material and spiritual heritage.
Частина нашої нематеріальної духовної спадщини.
However, specific elements and aspects of our traditions may be transferred to our national culture, similar to the experience of other countries.
національної культури, тобто як це стало в багатьох країнах.
We cannot imitate these traditions and processes that we cannot truly experience and feel.
Тих процесів, які нам вже складно пережити по
Yet a large part of this cultural heritage can be a part of our future that will cement and unite a nation.
Абсолютно може бути частиною нашого майбутнього для, по-перше, об'єднання. Традиційна культура.
Traditional culture is unifying. It erases the boundaries of differences and disputes. It provides positive collective experiences in such a burst of emotional.
Дає оце пережиття позитивне.
I think that we don't have that many qualitative festivals. If we reevaluate the Soviet calendar, we can conclude that it is relevant to have this spiritual basis during a year, where people can be around a community and transfer this culture while preserving this heritage and expressing their emotions.
Зберігаючи і свою спадщину, і самовиражаючись емоційно, і бути в колективі, і в середовищі між людьми, і нести цю культуру далі. Тобто мені здається, що
I think that traditional culture has a great potential that may transform into spiritual foundation for the Ukrainian nation in the future.
Просто духовна основа для української нації.